Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Yomi Yevamos Daf Daled. We are holding on the bottom line of Gimel and Beis. The Mishnah tells us that an erva is patur from Yibum. How do we know that? The Gemara yesterday brought a brayso. We learned from Achos Isha that the concept of erva is applicable even in a Yibum circumstance. So if the Yevamos, his brother's wife, happens to be his daughter, Yibum will not apply. Why do we need a special pasuk for that? She's an erva. It's a loisase that has karis, no less than karis. Why would you even think mitzvahs Yibum can override that concern? Apparently, we're working with the premise, with the concept that typically an essay is doichel essay. When you have a context of conflict between essay and lois essay, essay will supersede, override the lois essay and allow you to do the mitzvah. And that's why you need a pasuk to tell you, no, in this case, there's no yibum by an erva. How do you know that concept to be true? Asks the Gemara. Lois essay greater milal in the dachi. How do we even know that an essay is doichei lois essay? The pasuk says, "Loisilbash shatnis." Not meant to wear shatnis, mixture of wool and linen. The pasuk continues. Next pasuk, Gedilim taslacha. Fashion strings of tzitzis for yourself. We learn from here. Why does the pasuk place tzitzis next to shatnis? To tell you that the mitzvah of tzitzis supersedes shatnis, as Rashi says on the top line. Loisilbash shatnis v'samach lei. Right next to it we have Gedilim taslacha. But Darshinan we apply a drasha, using the concept of simuchen. Why did her place the two concepts next to each other? To tell you there's a correlation, there's a connection. And therefore, v'sharinan kalayim b'tzitzis, we allow kalayim in the case of tzitzis. So you can have wool strings on a linen beged, etc. Alma, apparently, asay asay v'dechel lois asay, an asay of tzitzis will override lois asay. As we mentioned yesterday, the name of the Ramban in Parshas Yisro. Asay is that positive energy, positive connection to Hashem. And Yira is the basis of the lois asays in the Torah. Don't disconnect, don't cut yourself off from Hashem. So it's the midah of Yira represented in the lois asay, and therefore he says, Ahava, the power of love, positive energy overrides Yira, and therefore an asay is doichel lois asay. If you're presented with a conflict, the essay wins. And that's what we learn from the fact that the Torah allows you to make tzitzis using kalayim. So it's based on the concept of smuchen. How do we know that we can rely on smuchen? The fact that we have two topics placed next to each other. Placement, arrangement, represents something, has meaning. Teaches us halachis. Shenemar, smuchem lad la'olam, asurim be'emes v'yashar. The Torah is placed, is arranged in orderly fashion. Everything is be'emes b'yashar. There's a reason and place for everything. The fact that tzitzis is next to shatnez tells you that shatnez b'tzitzis is mutter. We have another example of this halacha of smuchin, v'amar of sheshes, and Rabbi Lazar. Mishum Lazar ben Azari, this is a mitzvah-related halacha. Menayin li Yevamos shenaflu l'fnei mukah shchin. How do we know that in the case where Yevamos presents herself as a Yevamos in front of her brother who is struck with a mukah shchin condition, full of boils, and she has no interest in marrying him? We don't force her. She ain't chos min oisa. We don't muzzle her. We hear her out. We're sensitive to her claims, to her tanas, and we actually force the Yavam to be chayletzer. How do we know that to be true? Don't muzzle the ox while he's threshing. And right next to it we have the pasuk of Yibum, to tell you that at times in a Yibum circumstance we don't muzzle. We're sensitive to the Yevama, and we don't push her forward and force her to be misyabim. Once again, this is based on the concept of smucha. Here comes a chiddush. Even the mandama who's loidarish smuchim ba'am, typically throughout the Chamisha Chumshei Torah, doesn't subscribe to smuchim. The seder, the arrangement, doesn't really teach us. Ein muktam u'mucha b'Torah. but that's typically. When it comes to Bereshis, through Bamidbar, B'Mishnah, Torah, Darish, when it comes to Dvarim, he will subscribe to Smuchim, the Rabbi Yehuda Ba'amalei Darish. As we find that Rabbi Yehuda typically doesn't apply Smuchim. Ube Mishnah Torah Darish, when it comes to Dvarim, which is sort of like a review of Mishnah Torah, over there we apply Smuchim, and therefore when it comes to Klein Betzitzis, which is contained in Dvarim, Smuchim will be activated, according to all Shittas. Uba'alma Menon Darish, how do you know that Rabbi Yehuda typically doesn't subscribe to Smuchim Desani? Benazo Omer, Nema Mechashefa Loisachaya. Torah says, put the Mechashefa, the women involved in witchcraft, put her to death. Don't let her live. What means of punishment do we apply? What means does she get? Unknown. We learn it from elsewhere. Whoever has a relationship with a behema, moisyumas. And that's next to Mechashefa. Samchay inyan loy, the Torah placed the inyan of the sheikh of behema next to the inyan of Mechashefa to tell you. Ma sheikh of behema beskila, just as that results in skila. Rashi brings a pasuk for it. Av Mechashefa beskila, likewise Mechashefa got skila, and that's how we know skila by Mechashefa. So it's based on Samuchin because they're in close proximity to each other. Amle Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda responds to Ben Azai. Is that a reason to give him skila, one of the most severe, if not the most severe punishment? Just because the psukim are next to each other, skila will give the machash of skila. All right, do you have to do that? We can't apply smuchin. That can't be the basis for the drasha. Ella, rather, how do you know Mechashefa got skila? From a different source. I agree with the halacha, but the source I disagree with. Ella oivi yadoni. There are two different variations of witchcraft. B'chal machashim hayu. Really, they were meant to be included in the concept of machar. They're a form, a variation of mechashim, of individuals involved in witchcraft. Why then does the Torah single them out? V'lama yatsu. The Torah singles them out. They get skila. Why? What's the point of singling them out and setting them apart? And Rashi brings the Mida b'Torah, one of the formulas applied to Torah Shalpeh is called davar shahoya b'chlal v'yatzu min haklal. If something was included in a klal and then was singled out, it's coming to teach. Lo lamed al atzma yatza wasn't just coming to teach itself, meaning to single itself out. Elo lamed al klal kula yatza. Any new element you find in this item that was singled out applies to the general, the klal as well. So over here, by Oivi Yidoni, really they should be included in all the Mechashim. Mechashefa Loisachaya includes these as well. V'lama Yotza, why doesn't the Torah single them out? The Torah says, Oivi Yidoni, they get skila, Lahakish, Lahem Verloi Melacha, who meant to connect all the other types of witchcraft individuals to the Oivi Yidoni V'loi Melacha and conclude as follows, Ma Oivi Yidoni B'skil, just as skila applies to Oivi Yidoni, as the pasuk clearly says, Af Mechashefa B'skil, likewise, skila applies to Mechashefa, and that's how we know this halach. It's clear. Rabbi Yehuda disagrees with Smuchim. But Uba Mishnah Torah Darsh, when it comes to Devarim, over there he agrees with Smuchim, such as in the case of Kalayim Betzitzis. Uba Mishnah Torah Menol the Darsh, how do we know that's true? That's not Noisa Adam Anusas Aviv, Mufutas Aviv. Typically one is not meant to marry his father's wife, even if it's not his mother. Eishes Aviv is off. What about Anusas Aviv? She's not really his wife. There was a forced relationship there. Mafutas Aviv, a coerced relationship. Or likewise, when it comes to a daughter-in-law. Not really a married daughter-in-law. It was Anusas B'nai, Mafutas B'nai. So according to Tanakama, these are really mutter. Because the Torah says, Ervash Eishes Avicha. Rashi says, Eishes Mashma Ade Kedushin Mashma. Through proper marriage. The same thing with a daughter-in-law. But if it's just Anusa Mafuta, the Isser Erva doesn't apply. Rabbi Yehuda disagrees in one case. Rabbi Yehuda Iser B'Anusas Avim Futas Avim. When it comes to his father, it's us. How do we know? V'Amar Avgidal Marav. It's based on Smuchim. My time to read the why. The Chsiv Leigach Ish as Ishes Av. One may not marry his father's wife. V'Leigala Knaf Aviv. What does this mean? He can't reveal the woman that was covered by the knaf, the beggar of the father. Basically, one who had a relationship with his father. Knaf Shara Aviv Leigala. So you can't marry this woman. I'm not speaking about a wife. Even an unofficial relationship is also considered an erva to the son. Well, how do you know we're speaking about anusa? The answer is miluvei dekra. We go back to the first part of the pasuk. Well, actually, to the previous pasuk. We're speaking about an oinus, a false relationship. And the pasuk right after that says, "Lo yikach ish es eishes aviv, v'lo yigala knaf aviv." Here's Rabbi Yehuda speaking. Smuchen. We have the pasuk of "Lo yigala knaf aviv" situated, following that pasuk speaking about anusa. We conclude that this pasuk, as well as alluding to an anusa, and therefore anusa's aviv is us. Rabbanan disagree, as we're going to say in a minute. But in any case, we've proven our point. When it comes to mechashefa leisachaya, Rabbi Yehuda does not apply smuchen. When it comes to anusas aviv, he does. Why? The answer is that's Vayikra. This is Mishnah Torah. So Mishnah Torah and Dvarim, we apply smuchim. Likewise, when it comes to shatnez betzitzis, even Rabbi Yehuda agrees. The asay of tzitzis overrides the loisasay of shatnez and its mutter. Rabbanan who disagreed with Rabbi Yehuda, they hold that anusas aviv is mutter. They hold like this: if indeed the second portion of this pasuk, lo yigala knaf aviv, would be situated immediately following that pasuk of anusa, previous pasuk of anusa, we would follow along with you. It would be smuchen. It would connect. It would relate. But there's a problem here. There's something in between. There's something interrupting the two psukim. It's not right next to it, because remember, there's a first portion of the pasuk that gets in the way. That's recorded in between. So one pasuk speaks about an anusa. Next pasuk starts with Eshes Aviv, unrelated to anusa, and then only then legal knaf aviv. There's been a disconnect here. So it doesn't relate back to anusa. What then does the pasuk mean when it says legal knaf aviv b'shemeres yavim makasim medaber? We're speaking about the shemeres yavim of his father. His father's brother passed away without children. That brother had a wife. She's a Yevamos. She's destined for this fellow's father now. She's a shemeres yavam. Shemeres means like of shamar sadavar, mitzape, anticipating. She's anticipating yibum by his fellow's father. She's not really his wife, but she's already 1 foot in. That's what the pasuk is speaking about. Either a proper wife or on the way in. But anusa, that's not us. The question is, why does the pasuk have to say, don't marry the shemeres yavam of one's father? A shemeres yavam, in any case, may not marry anybody else except for the yavam. Lo yitia eshes hameis hachutz al ish zor. There's a lav. Answer is for lav or olav v'shnei lav, to apply another lav on top of the conventional lav, the standard lav applying to every yavam. She may not marry out. She may not marry anybody except for the yavam. If it pertains to one's father, there's an extra isser. You got a knaf aviv. Okay, so now we concluded that according to Rabbi Yehuda, typically we don't follow smuchim, but in Mishnah Torah we do. Why? The question is why? Why is Mishnah Torah different? Oh, Mishnah Torah, my time in the Dorish, why does he dorish smuchim? You're saying we have two terutzim. One teretz mishum demuchach, because it's clear. Why is it clear? More soon we'll explain. Because otherwise it's out of context. So the arrangement in this case is indicative of the fact that there is reason and purpose, and there is something to be learned from the exact placement. Another teretz is because we're speaking about an extra pasuk. It's an unnecessary expression. It's an extra pasuk, and therefore there's something to it. And therefore we learn smuchim. Explains the Gemara. Whether it's because of the fact that it's obvious. Why is it obvious? So again, we're speaking about the Isra of Anusas Aviv. What makes it obvious? Dim came because were it to be true that the Rabbanan's opinion that was speaking about a Shemeres Yavam, that was the correct approach. It doesn't belong here. It doesn't belong in the discussion of the Anusa. We're speaking about a Parsha of Anus. Why does it belong here? Lichte v'rachmana gab arayis. You know where it belongs? Together with all the other arayis. The fact that the Torah chose to place it over here, together with the parsha of Oinus, that's a raya that we're speaking about Anusas Aviv. Another teretz is because we have an extra pasuk. The fact that it's an extra pasuk, that in itself is a basis for us to darshan. Dim kain, because if it were so that the Rabbanan's approach was correct, then it wouldn't have to express itself in this way. Lichte v'rachmana, the pasuk just say, Lo yikach ish es ishes aviv. V'lo yigala kanaf. If the Rabbanan's interpretation was correct, we're speaking about a ishes aviv, father's wife, and number two, a shemeras yavam la'aviv. If that's the case, why does the pasuk have to add aviv at the end? Aviv l'amali. That's an extra word. Shmamina lafnui. There's an extra word here, extra pasuk. Lafnui. It's available to teach us that we're trying to include something else, to teach us anusas aviv. How do we know it's anusas aviv? By way of the formula of smuch and the fact that it's in close proximity to the pasuk of anus, of Einus, so we know anusas aviv is asr as well. So typically we don't have these factors. Muchach afnui. In this case we do. And therefore Rabbi Yehuda agrees to apply smuchim. And Taisus points out that the truth is, theoretically, if there would be these factors, we would have mufni and muchach and other chumashim, then in those cases as well, Rabbi Yehuda would agree that smuchim can apply. But it so happens to be that factually we only have it in Mishnah Torah. Other Rishonim disagree. Dafkan in Mishnah Torah we can apply the concept of smuchim when it's mufni or muchach, but otherwise not. And the Yagois Merav Ranshberg on the sides, he explains, he says, because, I'll just read it inside, he says, Davke b'mishnah Torah dorish, v'loi b'chol Torah, v'tam mishum d'chol Torah mepi ha'gvura nemra. See, whereas the rest of the Torah was directly from Hashem, dictated by Hashem, over there we say, ve'ein mukta v'muchar. You can't draw conclusions from these Seder HaPasuk. Of course, there's a deeper meaning, but it's not meant for drash. Aval Moshe Shasida Mishnah Torah, when it comes to Mishnah Torah, Devar Moshe Rabbeinu arranged it, of course, Baruch HaKodesh, but it's a different type of arrangement. It was from Moshe Rabbeinu. He was Masada Parshach, partially Sida Lidorish. He had this in mind as well. That we can draw halachas from the Seder, from the arrangement. If that's the case, says the Gemara, Rabbi Yehuda agrees with the concept of smuchim, provided that it's in Mishnah Torah, provided that we have a reason, a special reason. It's muchach, it's mufna. How is that going to apply to tzitzis? Tzitzis nami there as well. Rabbi Yehuda would agree smuchim is in place. You know why? For the same two reasons. Ibo is saying whether mishum the muchach, because the placement makes it obvious as such. Ibo is saying mishum the mufna because we have an extra pasuk. And again, the extra pasuk tells you do something with me. Apply smuchim. Explains the Gemara, Ibo is saying you can say mishum the muchach because there's something obvious, something out of the norm in terms of placement. The im came lichte v'rachmana gav parshas tzitzis, because typically you would expect the mitzvah of tzitzis to be discussed in parshas tzitzis, which is elsewhere. Why would the pasuk mention tzitzis right here together with kalayim? There's a reason for it. The reason is connect the two concepts. Allow kalayim by tzitzis. But you say another teres mishum the mufna, because really we have an extra pasuk. In fact, that's an extra pasuk that indicates that it's ready for a drasha, and smuchim can be applied. Why is it extra? Michti, let's try to analyze this. We have two psukim when it comes to kalayim. Pasuk says, "Kasav ubeged kalayim shatnes le'al alecha." A beged that has this mixture of wool and linen should not be placed on you. Don't cover yourself with a beged shatnes. I'm not speaking about wearing, covering a blanket, towel. Why do we need the other pasuk, which speaks about wearing shatnes? Isn't it one and the same idea? Lo silbash shatnes lamed. Why does the Torah have to repeat? Don't wear shatnes. Shma min lafnuyim. That's an extra pasuk. It's mufna. It's available to tell us that the drush of smuchen should apply. Hani mitzvah tzrichi. No, both psukim are needed. Wearing and covering. Because Rachman Allah Yala Lech, the Torah only say don't allow yourself to be covered by kalayim. How about me? I would say Kol derech Allah asar Rachman. We would expand the issa. We would say any type of coverage is also, even if I don't have enough from it, I don't enjoy it. Even if I'm just a clothing salesman, I'm just wearing it for display purposes. Even those who sell begadim, they're just wearing it to display it without any personal interest of hana. Is that asr too? I would think yes. Right? It shouldn't cover you in any way. That's why we need the other pasuk. And the Shilba Shatnis tells you that there's a certain requirement. It's in the context. Within the context of hana. Don't wear it. Dumi de levisha has to be comparable to wearing this hana, which provides him with hana. But otherwise, there's no isav shatnis. And likewise, because Rachman silbash, the Torah only says the second pasuk, don't wear. Havamin, I would say, dafka levisha de nafesh hanayasa. Wearing a shatnis is a problem. Wow, it provides real benefit. Keeps you warm. Keeps you cozy. Keeps you feeling safe and secure. But just covering oneself, that's not a problem. That's why we need the other pasuk. Don't allow yourself to be covered by kalayim. There's no extra pasuk. Both have a chiddush contained in them. But if it were so, lichtav rachman al silbash shabbos. I understand we need halah, we need silbash, but that would be enough. Silbash shatnez. Don't wear a mixture. Why do we need semer pishtim? Semer pishtim lovely. Why do you have to spell it out? Silbash shatnez. Semer pishtim yachtav. Wool and linen. We already know that shatnez means a mixture of wool and linen. Why? How do we know that? Michti. Let's analyze. Kasav, the pasuk says, "Beged kilayim shatnez lo yalalech." A beged of shatnez should not cover you. And beged means wool and linen, the primary materials. V'tana de Bishmael. We learned in the Brayis and Beis Medrash of Bishmael that whenever we have the term beged in the Torah, it's alluding to wool and linen. Hoyel v'nemru b'Torah stam begadim. Fact is, we find many times over the word begadim in the Torah, beged begadim. We don't know what it's made of, right? And we find that in one instance the Torah specifies semer pishtim, that we're speaking about a beged of wool and linen. Where is that? That's by Negoim. Torah uses the word beged and explains itself. I was speaking about semer pishtim. We draw from there. Af kol semer pishtim. Whenever we have the lashon of beged, we're speaking about a beged which contains those primary ingredients of temer pishtim. Torah says, don't wear a beged of kalayim. Beged kalayim shatnez. What type of beged? A mixture of wool and linen. Semer pishtim because of Rachman Alamali. Why does there have to spell it out? Wool and linen. It's an extra pasuk. Here's the extra pasuk. Shmam lafnui. It's a mufna. It's available to teach you that in this case we apply smuchen, and the fact that the pasuk is stated next to tzitzis tells you that tzitzis b'kalayim is mutter. You can have wool threads and a linen beged, etc. Because essay deichel is essay. Asks the Gemara. That's not an extra pasuk. Vakati itzrich, we still need it. Perhaps I would say halahi. I understand when it comes to ha'alah. Again, there's wearing and there's covering. So one pasuk speaks about wearing. There's silbash shatnez, semer pishtim yachtav. The other pasuk speaks about ha'alah, being covered by a blanket, by a kalayim material. So I would say, yeah, when it comes to ha'alah, beged kilayim shatnez lo yala lecha, over there it needs to be a mixture of wool and linen. Ha'alah hi the lo nafesh hana'asa. When it comes to ha'alah, which doesn't provide that much hana as a beged does, so there the issue only applies if this material contains those primary ingredients, those primary fibers of wool and linen. But when it's a real beged, you're actually wearing it. close to skin, it's providing proper warmth. So perhaps in this case, quality makes up for quantity makes up for quality. The fact that I have more hana, that compensates for the fact that we're speaking about deficient materials, not those important materials of wool and linen. Any type of mixture is us. Any two types of materials mixed together is us. That's why we need a pasuk to tell you no. Shatnez is exclusively a mixture of wool and linen. So it's not an extra pasuk. We need that pasuk. In both cases, Halah and Levisha, it's exclusively regarding a mixture of wool and linen. Answers the Gemara in Cain, because if that's the point of the pasuk, we don't need these words articulated in the pasuk. Why? Lish tekramine. Torah could just withhold these words. Torah doesn't have to say l'silba shatnez and add semra pishtim yachta. How would I know it's semra pishtim? We would learn it from Halah. V'teisi shatnez ma'Allah. We would use Xera Shava. We have the word shatnez over here. L'silba shatnez. The same phrase we have b'Halah or beged kalaim shatnez. Just as over there, it's dafka beged material, which means wool and linen mixed together. Here as well, when it comes to Levisha, it's wool and linen, nothing else. So Tzemer Pishtim Yachtav is extra. That allows the smuchim to be activated. Says the Gemara, V'Tana de Rabbi Shmuel. We're going to have a kasha on Tana de Rabbi Shmuel. Tam at the Kasser Rachman Tzemer Pishtim. You tell me like this. We have an extra phrase, Tzemer Pishtim, that activates the smuchim. That tells you that Kalayim B'tzitzis is mutter. Halav hachi, but otherwise, if not for this extra drasha, what would I think? Kalayim B'tzitzis. Hava minad asr achmanu. Can we say that the Torah doesn't allow Kalayim in a tzitzis context? We have a kasha on you. Remember, Tana and Rabbi Shmuel were the ones who told us that the term beged found in the Torah alludes to a beged made of either wool or linen, those primary fibers. Let's take a close look at the parsha of tzitzis. What do you make tzitzis of? V'oksiv v'oslem tzitzis al kanfei big dayim. Beged means wool or linen. And tzitzis is fine, it's legal. Apparently Kalayim is mutter by tzitzis. We don't need smuchim, we don't need drashas. It's a beferish pasuk. With Handei Bishmal, didn't they tell us that called B'gadim Tzemer Pishtamim? The word beged is Tzemer Pishtam. B'marachman, Torah tells you, Avalei Tchelis. Make Tchelis on your beged. And what is Tchelis? Wool. Or Tchelis Amru. How do I know that? How do I know Tchelis is Amru? How do I know it's wool? Or Umayad Tchelis Amru? Very simple. Midasheish Kitna. Since we find that the term Sheish, by Big Kahuna we have Michna say Bad Sheish. What is Sheish alluding to? Kitna, linen, flax. If so, Tchelis Amru. We know that the colored fiber, the Tchelis, is Amru, is made from wool. Rashi explains the whole Arichas. He says we know that Big Kahuna only made from these two materials, wool or linen. So once we know that Sheish is linen, apparently the colored materials, the blue material is blue wool. And what is the Torah by Tzitzis telling you? Make the Tchelis, blue wool, on Big Dayim, on Big Adam, which can be either made from wool or linen. So that's it. Stop right here. We don't need smuchim. We don't need extra psukim. It's a pasuk in the Torah. No, not so fast. We need that drasha. You know why? There would be another way to interpret this pasuk in a way which would not lead us to believe that Kilayim is mutter by tzitzis. Perhaps we would say, true, tchelis is wool, and the word beged can either mean wool or linen, but perhaps he meant to match the types. Wool strings on a wool beged. Right? Linen strings on a linen beged. Don't mix and match. So you wouldn't know that Kilayim is mutter. And that's why we need the pasuk and the smuchim that we discussed. Okay, let's see inside. Tzitzrich. We need that pasuk. We need the drush to allow Kalayim by tzitzis. Perhaps we can follow Rav's track, which would not lead us to the desirable result that we're looking for. The Rav had a steer in the pasuk. Ksiv hakanaf. On the one hand, the pasuk says v'nosnu al tzitzis hakanaf psil techelis, and that sounds like min kanaf. The threads have the same material, are made of the same fibers as the beged itself. So you have a silk beged, you have silk threads. So you can use any type of material for your tzitzis as long as it matches the material of the beged. Now we have another passage which says which indicates that tzitzis have to be produced from semer pishtim only, wool or linen. Can use other fibers. So which way is it? Okay, the answer is like this. All types are mutter. All types work. But there's an advantage to those two primary materials, semer pishtim. They are poitrin bein b'minan, bein shaloi b'minan. They can exempt any sort of beged. So if you hang up semer or pishtim on a beged, it's irrelevant of whether the beged matches the threads or not. Semer pishtim are those all-encompassing, a master key that takes care of any beged. As opposed to shamin, other types of materials, for instance silk, that has limited ability. B'minan poitrin, if you hang it up on a silk beged, it works. Hakanaf min kanaf. Shaloi b'minan ein poitrin doesn't work on another beged. So semer pishtim are all-encompassing. Other materials, other types of strings work, provided that they match the beged itself. Okay, so how does it pertain to us? We had a kasha. Why would the Torah have to explicitly allow you to employ kalayim by tzitzis? According to Tanit Bishmuel, the term beged by tzitzis, v'oslam tzitzis al kafim bigdeim, indicates that we're speaking about wool or linen. Right? Because beged means wool or linen, according to Tanit Bishmuel. Okay, so the Torah already allows kalayim right there. You can make a wool tzitzis on a linen beged. Okay, so the Gemara says, no, not so fast. You know why? Because perhaps we're going to follow Rava's formula, which indicates that there is a certain limitation. There's a certain limitation when it comes to tzitzis. It has to match the beged. So perhaps in this case I would say that wool only works to wool, linen to linen. Just as Rava tells us that silk can only be used on a silk beged. Right? So we're limited in our ability to apply certain strings to certain begadim. That's why the Torah has to tell you, no, when it comes to tzitzis, kalayim is mutter. You can take a wool thread and put it on a linen beged and vice versa. Says in one second. But Tanit Bishmuel Leslie the Rava. Tanit Bishmuel hold that the term beged mentioned by tzitzis indicates only wool and linen. Only a beged of wool and linen is chayv and tzitzis. Apparently he's not following Rava's approach, because Rava clearly tells us that even a silk beged works. Even a silk beged is chayv and tzitzis. Right? So how could you compare Tanit Bishmuel to Rava? It's just not following the same track. No. You're right. We're not going along with Rava as far as the final conclusion, as far as the halacha itself. Rava holds even a silk beged is chayv and tzitzis. Tanit Bishmuel apparently disagree. They hold that v'aslam tzitzis al kafei bigdeim, a beged is tzemer pishtim. So you're right, but as far as the concept that Rava presents, that can be applied in a limited fashion to Tanit Bishmuel as well. What does it mean? Istrich, we do need a pasuk to tell you that you can do tzitzis with kalayim, right? You need a pasuk for that, and the pasuk by tzitzis itself, Oslam tzitzis al kafei bigdeim, doesn't suffice. Just because bigdeim means wool and linen, it wouldn't necessarily allow kalayim. Why? Because we're going to adopt, in limited fashion, we're going to adopt Rava's diuk. Hakanaf min kanaf. Rava made a diuk. V'nosnu tzitzis hakanaf. The tzitzis and the kanaf, the threads and the corner and the beged have to match. So we're going to take that interpretation of Rava and apply it to us as well. And Torah is telling you like this. Sure. Put tzitzis on a beged, and a beged means wool or linen. But be careful to avoid kalayim. It has to match. Sure, use those primary materials, wool or linen, but it has to match. Don't mix them up. Don't make kalayim. Avalei tzemer. Produce linen threads for a linen. Woolen threads for a woolen beged. Upishtim lepishtim. Linen threads for a linen beged. V'chiavida tzemer tzave. And when you go and you hang up those threads, you produce woolen threads for the woolen beged save, color it blue. Avol tzemer lepishtim, or pishtim with tzemer, but to mix them up. Wool on linen, linen on wool, no, why? You can't do that. So just because the pasuk says, make tzitzis on a beged means either wool or linen, who says that means you can mix and match the types? Perhaps they have to match. That's why you need a pasuk. Kas rachmana tzemer pishtim. That takes us back to the diuk we had before. We have an extra pasuk, tzemer pishtim. Da'afilu tzemer lepishtim, pishtim tzemer. That extra pasuk indicates that there's some drasha embedded herein, i.e., apply smuchim. The mitzvah of tzitzis overrides kalayim, and therefore the conclusion is you can mix and match at will. You can make woolen threads for your pishtim beged, pishtim tzemer, and linen threads for your woolen beged, because asay doichel is asay. Okay, so that's the conclusion at this point. That we were looking for a mocker of asay doichel is asay. We found the drasha of kalayim betzitzis based on smuchen, and all agree that smuchen applies in this case. Certainly the Rabbanan and even Rabbi Yehuda. Why? Because it's obvious. Parashat Tzitzis belongs in Parashat Tzitzis. It's sort of out of place to tell you that the arrangement has some meaning to it. There's a remes here. There's a drasha that Tzitzis is mutter by kalayim, or because we have an extra pasuk, an extra expression of the pasuk, tzemer pishtim is extra to tell you that there's basis for a drasha of smuchen, that kalayim and tzitzis can go hand in hand. Continues the Gemara, one more line. This works according to Rabbi Shmuel. Right? Because remember, Tana Rabbi Shmuel were the ones who told us that the word beged denotes tzemer pishtim. So why does the pasuk have to spell out, don't make shatnez of tzemer pishtim? Pasuk says beged. Of course, it means a mixture of the elements that make beged, tzemer pishtim. So it's an extra pasuk that activates the smuch. But the Rabbanan Menalu, according to Rabbanan, beged can be referring to any material. The Torah has to explain to us. Shatnez is a mixture of wool and linen. It's not an extra pasuk. So how do they know? To activate smuchim. How do they know? That you can make tzitzis from kalayim. How do they know? That asay deichel say, they continue to be Be'ezras Hashem tomorrow. Hatzlacha Rabban, all the best to you.